The Sorcerer. Searing Ward's offensive aspect. After spending 200 to 100 mana, your next firewall is free to cast and will destroy incoming small missiles. Ooh. I'm still gonna get one-shotted regardless. Like, we know that's not gonna change, right? Okay, so welcome to Season 1 of the Malignant. Right. Legendary aspects. Oh my god. So this is patch 1.1.0a for all platforms, build number 43333 PC and 43223 for console. No! God! Okay, so welcome to Season 1 of the Malignant. Right. So this is patch 1.1.0a for all platforms, build number 43333 PC and 43223 for console. Okay. The new unique and legendary aspects. New unique items and legendary aspects have been discovered in Sanctuary. Use them to enhance your characters in the Eternal or Seasonal realm. These unique items can be obtained from World Tier 4, and legendary aspects can be obtained from any World Tier. Okay. 6 unique items. General. The Ahavarian Spear of Lakander, Uber Unique Staff, World Tier 4. Gain a random shrine effect for 10 to 20 seconds after killing an elite enemy. Can only occur once every 30 seconds. Developers note the Ahavarian Spear of Lakander is an extremely rare drop. We wish you luck in recovering it from the Armies of the Burning Hells. Ooh, okay. Barbarian. The Azurath Unique Sword. Lucky hit. Your core skills have up to a 20% chance to freeze enemies for 3 seconds and deal 0.75 to 1.5 cold damage to them. Ooh. The Druid. The Flesh Render Unique One-Handed Mace. Debilitating Roar and Bloodhowl deals 0.5 to 1.0 damage to nearby poisoned enemies. The Necromancer. Lidless Wall Unique Shield. Lucky hit. While you have an active Bone Storm, hitting an enemy outside of a Bone Storm has up to a 5 to 25% chance to spawn an additional Bone Storm at their location. Each of your active sacrifice bonuses increases the chance by 25% and the total number of additional Bone Storms you can have by +1. The Rogue. The Eaglehorn Unique Bow. Penetrating Shot has a 30 to 80% chance to fire an arrow that bounces off walls and scenery. Hitting enemies from behind with Penetrating Shot will make them vulnerable for 3 seconds. The Sorcerer. The Oculus Unique Wand. Gain the effect of the Teleport enchantment for free. When you evade using Teleport enchantment, you are taken to a random location. Developers know the Azure Wrath and Fleshrender unique items have flat damage effects which scale with power. For example, at 820 item power, the Azure Wrath deals between 3,359 to 6,718 damage. Damn! Hey, Sork's finally getting another weapon! Let's freaking go! Okay. And of course, I'm not running a Sork in season, like, really. 7 new legendary aspects. General. The Audacity Utility aspect. When there are at least 5 close enemies, stun them for 2 to 4 seconds. This can only occur once every 20 seconds. Craven Mobility aspect. You gain 20 to 40% increased movement speed when moving away from slowed or chilled enemies. The Barbarian. Ancestral Charge offensive aspect. Charge calls forth 4 ancients who also charge, dealing 500 to 100% of normal damage. The Druid. Subterranean offensive aspect. Poison Creepers active also cast Landslide in a circle around you. Earth skills deal 10 to 20% increased damage to poisoned enemies. The Necromancer. Gore Quill's offensive aspect. Blood Lance will consume blood orbs to also conjure lances from them. Each additional blood lance deals 20 to 50% of normal damage and prioritizes targeting unlanced enemies. True, right? The Rogue. Pestilent Point's offensive aspect. Every third cast of Puncture is poison imbued with 100 to 150% normal potency. The Sorcerer. Searing Ward's offensive aspect. After spending 200 to 100 mana, your next firewall is free to cast and will destroy incoming small missiles. Ooh. Okay. Bug fixes. Accessibility. Made various improvements from an accessibility perspective, primarily many fixes to the screen reader where it failed to read specific elements. Challenges. Fixed multiple issues where specific challenges wouldn't provide the proper rewards or could not be completed. Fix multiple issues where certain challenges could be progressed through unintended means. Fix multiple issues where players could gain progress for certain challenges through the actions of other nearby players. Hey, I like this. Fix multiple instances where activities that should count towards the criteria for some challenges were not counted. Fix an issue where players would not receive notifications for when one of their friends completed a challenge. Fix an issue where feats of strength were not accounted for when calculating challenge completion percentage. The feat of strength, Final Slayer of the First Mother, now requires you to slay the level 100 Pinnacle boss solo. The Silence in Hellish challenge remains unchanged. Oh. It now requires you to kill her solo. Fix an issue where the feats of strength, one of the first and earliest experiences, did not display all the titles they were awarded. Oh shit. Damn. Right? Damn. So lucky for the people that already got it done. Co-op play. Fix an issue where the camera wasn't functioning properly when players were far apart in local or co-op. Fix an issue where NPC conversation boxes would overlap if multiple local co-op players talked to the same NPC at the same time. Yeah. Fix an issue where the rogue's inner sight would only fill up for one of the players in a co-op session. We did think ahead. Fix an issue where the Dark Potential Challenge would be granted to both players where either player completed it regardless of the other player's progress. Fix multiple instances where quest progress would not properly synchronize or quest progression could be blocked by for local co-op players. Fix multiple issues that occur during cutscenes for co-op players. That also changes, like, what I thought. Because, like, to me, Uber Lilith was meant for group play. But now they're basically saying, hey, no, it's not meant for group play. It's literally meant for solo. That's crazy. Okay. Dungeons. Fix an issue where the player would not be able to receive enough animus to progress through the Hollowed Ossuary dungeon. Fix an issue where the stone carving in the Fallen Temple capstone dungeon would duplicate. Fix an issue where the monster regen affix in a Nightmare dungeon would also affect structures in that dungeon. No need to go back it. True. Fix an issue where the Goatman and Shambling Corpse enemies would continuously respawn in the Forsaken Quarry dungeon. Fix an issue where the Sentinel enemies would not have weapons in the Bastion of Faith dungeon. Fix an issue where the Bastion of Faith dungeon could sometimes not be completed. Fix an issue where the player could respawn behind a barrier in the Fallen Temple capstone dungeon. Fix an issue where the map for the Crusaders Cathedral dungeon was incomplete. Fix an issue where the Curse of Indolescence and the Curse of the Weak would stack even while the player was dead in the Fallen Temple capstone dungeon. Fix multiple instances where the fog door could not be progressed through some dungeons. Oh, like some of the random bugs that we had. Fix an issue where the Monster Thorns affix in Nightmare dungeons was reflecting physical damage. It will now properly reflect non-physical damage. Fix an issue where blood boils would not properly spawn in the Core Dragon Barracks dungeon. Oh, finally. Fix an issue where traps would deal more damage than intended. Fix an issue where level scaling in the 100 Pinnacle dungeon was inconsistent. And fix an issue where the Awakened Glyphstone wouldn't spawn if the party leader left the dungeon before the dungeon was completed. I haven't looked. Gameplay. Barbarian. Fix an issue where the number of enemies to defeat the Barbarian class quest Masters of Battle was not displayed. Fix an issue where Iron Maelstrom could be cast more than 3 times, rapidly casting Warcry. Fix an issue where stacking the Berserk, Ripping, Skullbreaker, and Anemia aspects would allow the player to deal extreme amounts of damage. Fix an issue where the outer edge of the Quakes granted to Hammer of the Ancients via the aspect of Ancestral Echoes was dealing far more damage than intended. Developer note, we recognize this adjustment is a significant decrease to the Hammer of the Ancients Barbarian build, but we do not want its strength to be reliant on an underlying bug. Makes sense. Droid. Fix an issue where Earth Scales and the Pulverized skill would consume 2 overpowered buffs simultaneously. Fix an issue where the bonus effect on Bloodhowl from Night Howler's aspect would apply twice to Wolf Companions, but not all for Ravens. Wow. Fix an issue where Provocation passive stacks wouldn't update properly after adding more points to it. Fix an issue where the automatic transformation from Insatiable for Fury would cause the Earth Sign Strength key passive to not proc consistently. Fix an issue where the enhanced pulverized buff would not remove itself while in town. Fix an issue where seeking tornadoes produced by Storm Chaser's aspect would not deal damage. Fix an issue where Raven's passive damage did not improve after the skill was upgraded. Fix an issue where rabies would deal no damage while standing very close to an enemy. I mean, I kind of like the idea of rabies not doing damage, but, you know, that's just me. I'm also joking because of what it's called. Fix an issue where Stormclaw's aspect allowed Shred to do extreme amounts of damage. That's why you go spin to win. I agree. The Necromancer. Fix an issue where Necromancers could not obtain daggers from the Purveyor of Curiosities. Oh, okay. Fix an issue where the Necromancer's minions would have their life bonuses deactivated while in town. Fix an issue where Bone Spear cast through Chilling Wind from an elite enemy would increase the number of generated echoes for the cast. Fix an issue where enhanced Bone Spear could cause erratic movement. Fix an issue where canceling Blood Mist when it's already off cooldown would immediately recast it. The Rogue. Fix an issue where Shadow Step wouldn't trigger the aspect of Uncanny Treachery if the target was killed. Fix an issue where Advanced Penetrating Shot would not knock down other players in PvP play. Fix an issue where Twisting Blades would not come back when the ability killed a bloated corpse fiend enemy. Fix an issue where the dash skill would not move the full distance if targeting an enemy while using a controller. Fix an issue where the Eldritch Bounty Paragon node granted bonus resistances incorrectly. Fix an issue where the Rapid Fire had an extra arrow VFX that behaved erratically. Fix an issue where the Awakened Glyphstone wouldn't spawn for rogue players using improved barrage. The Sorcerer. Fix an issue where the Firebolt enchantment effect did not contribute to the Combustion Key passive. Fix an issue where the passive stacks generated by aligning the elements could partially reset in an unexpected way. Fix an issue where casting Deep Freeze would prevent Ice Shard enchantment effect from triggering. Fix an issue where the aspect of control was applying its damage bonus 3 times for staggered bosses. Fix an issue where the gravitational aspect was appearing weaker on two-handed weapons or amulets. Fixed an issue where the enchantment effect for Chain Lightning had no visual tracking bonus and could also unexpectedly drop off. Fixed an issue where Incinerate would immediately cost 30 mana when cast in addition to the consistent channeling mana cost. Incinerate now properly only costs mana as it's being channeled. General. Fixed multiple instances where players could unnaturally teleport during boss encounters. Fix an issue where chests in the Western Ways could be interacted with indefinitely. Oh, damn. Or infinitely, sorry. Fix an issue where the Airman NPC couldn't be interacted with in certain situations. Fix an issue where otherwise breakable objects in the world would not be broken when evading through them. Fix multiple instances where the player could avoid damage from bosses if they position themselves in a specific location. Fix an issue where forged relics could not be interacted with. Fix an issue where monsters with a cold, bleeding, burning, or corruption affix would freeze players in one hit in Nightmare Dungeons with a cold enchanted affix. So that wasn't supposed to be happening? Oh, dang. Fix an issue where cold enchantment monsters froze players more often than intended in higher world tiers. Hey! Okay. Fix an issue where chests could spawn that would provide infinite loot. Damn. Okay, so... Welcome back. See, I told you it wasn't normal. Like, I used to never get frozen that much from the cold enchants, and now there was something weird. It was, like, ridiculous back to back to back. That is the most renowned after downloading the patch. That's true. Luckily, I only have the one character. Helltide in the Fields of Hatred. Fix an issue where the player could be damaged by the Helltide firestorms while standing in Girandai. Fix an issue where enemies resurrected by shamans would continuously drop aberrant cinders in Helltide. Fix an issue where Chain Lightning could bounce infinitely between the caster and other player characters standing in the Fields of Hatred town. Fix an issue where Crackling Energy could hit other players in a Field of Hatred town. We know, shocking. Fix an issue where players could not see other players that they should when re-entering the Zuda Fields of Hatred zone. Fix an issue where certain areas in the Fields of Hatred would be incorrectly flagged as a town, rendering players unable to cast skills while still being able to be damaged. GG. Items and aspects. Fix an issue where the cost reduction bonus from the Ring of Starless Skies could unexpectedly drop off. Fix an issue where the aspect of the Protector would trigger its barrier effect after destroying a breakable object. Fix an issue where the Ring of Misfortune had incorrect stats. Fix an issue where the Ember Staff weapon didn't apply the bonus damage to the crowd-controlled enemies, which is inherent for all stave-type weapons. Fix an issue where any character menu interaction would reset the bonus granted by the inner column aspect. Fix an issue where the maximum life affixed on the Mark of the Conclave quest item was scaling improperly. Fix an issue where aspect power would also increase when upgrading an item at the blacksmith. The level requirements for sacred items will now cap at level 60. The level requirements for ancestral items will now cap at level 80. Fix an issue where the Mother's Embrace unique ring did not trigger properly with several abilities. Cool. Cool. I didn't see the Helltide info about the boxes. Unless that's in a different spot. Monsters. Fix an issue where items of higher power than intended were dropping from rare monsters. Fix an issue where the Warg's jumping attack dealt no damage when passing through the player. Fix an issue where the pitiless Gur monster would endlessly run around in circles. Fix an issue where the lightning enhanced champion Goman would fail to deal damage to the player. Fix an issue where monsters with a suppressor affix would be immune to damage from abilities that started initially outside the immunity circle. Example, when a barbarian started a whirlwind cast before getting within proper range of the suppressor monster. Fix an issue where clones of a monster with a suppressor affix could also have the suppressor affix. Fix an issue where treasure goblins would behave erratically if initially engaged from a long distance. Oh, okay. Fixed multiple other issues where monster behavior could not perform properly and could be exploited in some cases. Quests and events. Fix an issue where the progress bar could not fill during the Caravan Under Siege event. Fix an issue where the Putrid Remain enemies could remain idle during the Defiled Ground event. Fix an issue where champion enemies could not spawn during the Ancient Obelisk event. Fix multiple issues where using traversals could cause the elite and boss monsters to disappear during multiple events. Fix an issue where Radiant and Greater Radiant chests would not spawn when completing the Fearful Bones event. Fix an issue where the Cursed Chest event could not be completed. Fix an issue where the Defiled Ground event in Hawazar would have a respawn point much further away than intended. Fix an issue where unique drowned enemies spawned during the events in the Forgotten Coastline could be invulnerable to damage. Fix an issue where the suppressor monster affixes effects would be active on containers and furniture inside the dungeon during the Remnants quest. Fix an issue where the player could teleport through the Ancient Gate and block progression during the Storming the Gates quest. Fix an issue where progression could be blocked during the Flesh and Blood quest. Fixed an issue where quest dungeons did not reset if the associated quest was abandoned. Fixed an issue where the quest tracker would be missing if the player re-entered the game during the Picking Through the Bones quest. Fixed an issue where not enough monsters would spawn to fulfill the requirements for completing the Hungering Necrolytes cache quest. Fixed an issue where an enemy was missing when progressing through the Lost Archives dungeon during the Legacy of the Magi quest. Fixed an issue where the immemorable inscription could not be read during the Augury of Bones quest. Fixed an issue where the player character couldn't face to speak to an NPC when initiating dialogue for multiple quests. Fixed an issue where the ghost body of Bakiro could remain invisible after being defeated during the True Potential Rogue class quest. Fixed an issue where outside party members could influence the progression of the Bad Blood quest. Fixed an issue where the player could be blocked from re-entering the boss's area after dying during the fight against Elias in the Piercing the Veil quest. Fixed various other issues where quest progress could be blocked. Okay. User interface and user experience. Fixed an issue where the minimap didn't accurately depict the game world during the the Blind Eye quest, sorry. Fixed an issue where the map was incomplete for the Loch Wraith region in Skogsland. Fixed the issue where a portion of the map was invisible in the Exalter Terrace dungeon. Fixed an issue where the Mad Bomber title would not display for enemies encountered through the Whisper of the same name. Fixed an issue where articles in the newsfeed could not be opened using mouse and keyboard. Fixed an issue where you have cross-network play enabled message being sent in chat each time a campaign quest objective was completed. The Cult Leader Paragon passive no longer appears above hostile minions in PvP. Fixed an issue where the bonus from the Basilisk aspect displays +0 to skills instead of +2 on the bonus bar. Fixed an issue where sigil sorting was inconsistent between inventory and the stash. Fixed an issue where the social tab on the action wheel editing window would be skipped when navigating on controller. Fixed an issue where the amount of gold would not properly display when trading gold in large quantities. Fixed an issue where item comparison numbers would be inaccurate if the item in question had a gem socketed that granted a stat that was also present on the base of the item. Fixed an issue where images would not properly load in the newsfeed on the main menu. Fixed multiple issues with map pin functionality. Fixed multiple issues where quest and whisper markers weren't displaying properly. Various improvements to the consistency and clarity of messaging, skill descriptions, and tooltips. Various other UI and UX improvements. Miscellaneous. Fixed an issue where the completion music for defeating Avarice could stay playing before the boss was defeated. Always confirm your kills before celebrating Wanderers. Fixed an issue where players couldn't send Battle.net friend requests to friends playing on console. Fixed an issue where players could confirm if hardcore mode was enabled after logging in with a new character. Fixed an issue where players that haven't unlocked a higher world tier could be invited into a higher world party. Fixed an issue where players couldn't transfer leadership of a clan. Oh, okay. Fixed an issue where the sender of the party invite would not be informed that the invite failed due to incompatibility with campaign prologue progress. Fix an issue where Nafane's spear would duplicate in the cutscene where the player picks it up. Fix an issue where Mischief's camel made no noises. And fix an issue where there was no sound when Loreth kicks Mischief away. Various other improvements. Blizzard also needed an update. Oh, okay. Loading screen updates. We've added more dynamic loading screens when with the release of Season of the Malignant. This includes adding more assets to the loading screen, such as your player character. Oh, cool. Gameplay updates. General. Altar of Lilith unlocks are now account-wide. Yes! Map discovery is now account-wide. Whispers will no longer reward sigil dust. Overall, loot quality has been significantly improved for silent chests. The channel time for the Leave Dungeon ability has been increased from 3 to 5 seconds. We have generally reduced the tendency for many monsters to move around in combat so that melee characters don't have to chase down their enemies as much. Added PS5 DualSense Edge wireless controller support for PC. World Tier. World Tier 2 has had the following bonuses added. Bonus gold increased from 15% to 20%. Monsters now drop 15% more items. Developers know, we like when World Tier 2 has landed overall, but are increasing its rewards pace to better align with its difficulty. Okay. That's kind of cool. Level scaling inside dungeons and most overworld territories have been adjusted in World Tiers 3 and 4. Monsters will begin to trail behind the player in level after a certain point, up to a maximum of 5 levels behind. This change does not affect world bosses, Legion events, Fields of Hatred, Helltide, or Nightmare dungeons. Developers know, we want to give players a better sense of their power progression and mastery over the world while still challenging themselves with structured endgame activities. World Tier 3 example. If the player's level is below 55, the monster's level is 55. If the player's level is between 56 and 60, the monster's level is 55. If the player's level is 61, the monster's level is 56. If the player's level is 62, the monster's level is 57, etc. From this point on, the monsters will always be -5 until World Tier's max monster level of 70. Yeah. World Tier 4, for example, if the player's level is below 75, the monster's level is 75. If the player's level is between 76 and 80, the monster's level is 75. If the player's level is 81, then the monster's level will be 76. If the player's level is 82, the monster's level is 77, etc. From this point, the monsters will always be -5. Yeah. Experience. Reward experience for completing Whispers in World Tier 3 and 4 have been significantly increased. Developers know, we have observed that the experience bonus rewards for killing higher level monsters escalates too fast when compared to the relative challenge involved. We still want to reward players for taking on its challenges by encouraging them to participate in power leveling together instead of one player killing enemies while another member of their party waits at the dungeon's entrance. We are adjusting bonus experience rewards for killing monsters that are a higher level than the player. Pre-season of the Malignant bonuses. 1 level higher equals plus 15%. 2 levels higher, 20%. 3 levels higher, 25%. Post-season of the Malignant, 1.5% bonus per level up to 10 levels. Example, plus 1 level, 1.5 increase. Plus 2, 3%. Plus 10 levels, plus 15%. We are also adjusting experience rewards for monster levels offset for higher world tiers. The current world tier level offsets, World Tier 2 up to 3, World Tier 3 up to 10, World Tier 4 up to 100. We are changing this to World Tier 2 up to a plus 3, it's unchanged. World Tier 3 will go up to a plus 6, while World Tier 4 up to a plus 10. For example, if you are level 1, your friends bring you to a world level 4 and leave you at the entrance of this dungeon, they start killing level 100 monsters. Prior to Season 1 of the Malignant, you would get 1 plus 25% of EXP. After the season, you're so level 11 monsters plus to 15%. Developers know. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Well, because it made sense, right? If you're just having a lobby just standing there and not doing anything, this way it kind of forces them, even if the lobby dies, have them run with you. Kind of thing. Rather than standing at the dungeon and just waiting. Like, who cares if they die? Just have them running with you, then it's a little bit better. They'll get more EXP that way. Helltide. Developers know, we're looking to increase the dangers in Helltide's risk-reward gameplay by making the monsters a bit more challenging and the tortured gift of mysteries harder to open. Helltide monsters are now 3 levels higher than the player instead of 2. The Tortured Gift of Mysteries chest has now had its cost increased to 250 aberrant cinders from 175. All interactable objects in Helltide zones now have a small chance of dropping aberrant cinders. Oh my god. Balance updates. Developers know, as our community continues to battle the burning hells, the builds emerging from new players have shocked and delighted us. We've chosen to focus Season 1 of the Malignant's balance updates on clear itemization disparities over redesigns of class features. The class changes are largely focused on numeric increases to skill upgrades and legendary aspects that players haven't yet found compelling. Additionally, we're changing critical strike damage to Paragon glyphs to empower all damage instead of only core skills to enable more build strategies. There are also a few class stat decreases on sources which grant extreme amounts of damage, healing, or unstoppable. In general, we prefer build-specific changes to be bonuses instead of decreases, but we feel these changes are necessary for the overall health of the game. Diablo 4 is a game that is continually evolving through its seasons, thus the adjustments we'll make to evolve with them. So basically like what we said earlier today. Yeah. Well, because the thing is, they specifically said it before, they don't want players just going for the mystery boxes. Because uniques and Ubers can drop from all the boxes. So if you're just going mysteries, you're technically wasting time because there's so many other boxes that you can farm and collect during that time also. But a lot of players are just skipping almost all of the boxes and going just for mystery only. So it kind of makes the other boxes irrelevant. So this is kind of their way of probably hoping that players will finally start collecting the other boxes also and not just going for mystery. Okay, the Barbarian. So the following balance updates apply to both Seasonal and Eternal Realm. Oh, of course, they're still gonna, but, you know. Barbarian. Skills. Violent double swing, vulnerable duration increased from 1 to 2 seconds. Furious upheaval damage bonus per stack increased from 3% to 5%. Power charge cooldown reduction is now capped to 3 targets for a maximum of 9 seconds of cooldown reduction. Tactical ground stomp fury gain increased from 25 to 40. Enhanced death blows damage bonuses to bosses increased from 100% to 150%. Enhanced steel grasp vulnerable duration increased from 2.5 to 3 seconds. Enhanced rupture damage increased from 30% to 45%. Warrior's rupture attack speed bonus increased from 20% to 30%, and duration increased from 4 to 5 seconds. Fighter's rupture healing increased from 15% to 18% of maximum life. The passives. Hamstring now only slows healthy enemies, and slow amount is increased from 10, 20, 30% to 20, 40, 60%. Cut to the bone bleeding damage bonus to vulnerable reduced from 6, 12, 18% to a 5, 10, 15%. Paragon. Wrath's glyph bonus now affects all damage instead of just core skills. The aspects. Relentless Berserker's aspect berserking duration increased from 1 to 2 seconds. Battle Mad aspect berserking duration increased from these numbers. Brawler's aspect damage increased from those numbers. Aspect burning rage damage increased from a 0.8 to a 1.14 to a 0.22 to 28. I really hate reading these numbers. Aspect of the Iron Warrior damage reduction increased from a 15 to 25% to an 18 to 28%. Slaking aspect lucky hit chance increased from a 30 to 50% to a 40 to 60%. Aspect of Ancestral Echoes, lucky hit chance increased from a 40 to 50% to a 50 to 60%. Weapon Mastery's aspect, lucky hit chance increased from a 32 to 50% to a 37 to 55%. Item, Gora's devastating grips now explode every 2 seconds or after it ends, and its hit cap has been removed. Fields of Crimson Bleeding damage bonus increased from a 10% to a 15% point. Yeah, I have a hard time reading the point number, so we're just not going to go over those and just go with the percentages. Make it a little bit easier. My build is pretty much untouched. Hell yeah. Okay. The Druid. Where are we? Skills. Enhanced Claw attack speed bonuses increased from a 10% to a 15%. Storm Strike damage reduction reduced from 25% to a 15%. Boulder damage increased from a 33% to a 46%. Savage Trample Spirit gain increased from a 20 to 40. Prime Lacerate healing increased from 3% to 5%. Cataclysm lightning damage increased from a 64 to a 77%, and tornado damage from a 19 to 23%. Supreme Cataclysm vulnerable duration increased from a 2 to 3 seconds. Prime Cataclysm duration increased from a 2 to 4 seconds. Prime Grizzly Rage now grants unstoppable for 6 seconds instead of while active. Passive Provocation threshold required for guaranteed overpower reduced from a 35-30-25 to a 24-20-16 seconds. Spirit Boon. Masochistic now also requires a lucky hit chance of 75%. Prickle Skin Thorns increased from a 0.1 to a 0.15. Iron Feather maximum life increased from a 10% to a 14%. Bolster Fortify increased from a 10% to 15% of maximum life. Overload damage increased from a 0.2 to a 0.25. Paragon. The Spirit Glyphs bonus now affects all damage instead of just core skills. The aspect of the Calm Breeze lucky hit chance increased from a 5 to 10% to a 7 to 12%. Balanced aspect maximum spirit increased from a 30 to 50 to a 60 to 80. Aspect of the Tempest damage bonus increased from a 7 to 15% to a 10 to 18%. Skinwalker's aspect healing increased from a... Symbiotic's aspect cooldown reduction reduced from a 4 to 8 to a 3 to 5. Aspect of the Stampede damage bonus increased from a 10 to 20 to a 16 to 26%. A Shepherd's damage bonus increased from a 6 to 8% to a 6 to 10%. Item. Insatiable Fury's Werebear skills ranks increased from 2 to 3. Mad Wolf's Glee Werewolf skill ranks increased from 2 to a 3. The Necromancer. Skills. Initiates Decompose Slow increased from 30 to 50%. Paranormal Sever Cast required for vulnerable reduced from 4 to 3. Enhanced Blood Surge healing increased from 2.5 to 3% of maximum life. Enhanced Bloodlance damage reduction for piercing reduced from 15 to 10%. Bone Prison initial essence gained increased from 15 to 25. Abhorrent Iron Maiden healing increased from 5% to 7% of maximum life. Golems move faster and unhindered through the enemies when their cooldown is activated. Supreme Blood Waves leave behind blood orbs earlier in its path. The Raised Skeleton, Corpse Explosion, and Corpse Tendrils range for auto-targeting corpses on mouse and keyboard increased by 50%. Raised Skeleton, Skeletal Priest bonus damage increased from 20 to 30%. Raised Skeleton, Skeletal Priest healing increased from 10% to 15%. Passives, Evulsion bonus damage to vulnerable reduced from 6, 12 to 18% to a 5, 10, 15%. Transfusion minion healing increased from a 10 to 30 to 45% to a 20, 40, 60%. Drain Vitality lucky hit chance increased from 25 to 30%. Amplified damage increased from a 3, 6, 9% to a 4, 8, 12%. Book of the Dead. Necromancer's minions will now automatically resummon after respawning during a world boss fight. Skeleton Warrior's Defender upgrade. Thorns Inherited increased from 40% to 50%. Shadow Skeleton Mage upgrade attacks required for an additional Shadow Bolt reduced from 5 to 4. Bone Skeleton Mage upgrade Fortify amount increased from 11% to 20%. Iron Golem's upgrade attacks required for Slam attack reduced from 5 to 4. Paragon. Essence Glyphs bonus now affect all damage instead of just core skills. Yay. Aspects. Splintering aspect bone damage bonus reduced from 50 to 100% to a 30 to 60%. Aspect of plunging darkness bonus damage increased from 50 to 100% to a 75 to 125%. Coldbringer's aspect blizzard cooldown reduced from a 10 to 8 seconds. Aspect of Hungry Blood, chance to fire a blood lance increased from a 10 to 20% to a 13 to 23%. Blood Soaked aspect damage increased from a... Yeah. Aspect of Ultimate Shadow damage increased from... Aspect of Grasping Veins critical strike damage bonus reduced from 30 to 60% to a 20 to 40%. Osseous Gale aspect bonus Bone Storm duration increased from a 4 to 8 to a 5 to 10 seconds. Aspect of the Damned damage bonus increased from a 30 to 40% to a 40 to 50%. Blood-bathed aspect echo damage reduction reduced from 70 to 60% to a 60 to 50%. Aspect of Reanimation Skeletons damage bonus increased from a 20 to 30% to a 30 to 40%. Items. Bloodless Scream Essence gained increased from 2 to 5 to 7 to 10. Deathless Visage damage increased from that. So that is the Necromancer. So the Rogue... Rogue. Skills. Advanced Rapid Fire duration increased from a 3 to 5 seconds. Caltrops cast speed increased by 15%. Enhanced Cold Imbue lucky hit chance increased from 30% to 40%. Enhanced Smoke Grenade damage bonus increased from 15% to 20%. Methodical Dash maximum cooldown reduction increased from 3 to 4 seconds. Concealment Stealth duration increased from 4 to 5 seconds. Enhanced Dark Shroud's chance to not be consumed increased from 10% to 14%. Supreme Death Trap cooldown reduction increased from 10 to 12 seconds. Passives. Victimized lucky hit chance increased from a 30% to a 35%. Siphoning Strike now also requires a lucky hit chance of 75%. Rugged damage reduction against damage over time effects increased from 5, 10, 15 to a 6, 12, 18. Mending Obscurity healing per second while stealth increased from a 3, 6, 9% to a 4, 8, 12%. Aftermath energy restored increased from a 20, 50 to 75 to a 30, 60, 90. Paragon combat glyphs bonus now affects all damage instead of just core skills. Aldrich's bounty legendary node duration increased from a 6 to 9 seconds. Specialization preparations ultimate cooldown reduction increased from 4 to 5 seconds. Legendary aspects. Aspect of volatile shadows damage increased from that. Icy Alchemist aspect chill increased from a 15 to 25%. Shadow Slicer's aspect damage increased from a 25 to 35% to an 80 to 100%. Holy crap. Toxic Alchemist damage increased from that. Vengeful aspect lucky hit chance increased from a 30 to 50% to a 40 to 60%. Aspect of imitated imbuements duration increased from a 5 to 9 seconds. Aspect of stolen vigor healing increased from... aspect of lethal dusk life of kill duration increased from 4 to 6 seconds. Aspect of noxious ice bonus damage increased from a 10 to 25% to a 14 to 29%. Aspect of elusive menace dodge chance increased from a 1 to 5% to a 3 to 7%. Item Skyhunter's energy gain increased from 15 to 25 to a 20-30. Grasp of Shadows lucky hit chance increased from a 20 to 30% to a 24-34%. The Sorcerer. Skills. Enhanced Charge Bolts damage increased from 24 to 30% and now benefits from skill ranks. Destructive Charge Bolts damage reduction increased from 20% to 25%. Destructive Incinerate damage reduction increased from 20% to 25%. Ice Blade's cast cleanup has been tightened, allowing players to act after it's cast sooner. Firebolt initial damage increased from 10% to 18%. Wizard's Firewall maximum increased mana regeneration increased from 25 to 35%. Wizard's Blizzard core skill mana cost reduction increased from 10% to 20%. Supreme Deep Freeze cooldown reduction increased from 15% to 100%. Passives. Elemental Dominance now also affects mastery skills instead of just core skills. Potent Warding duration increased from 3 to 9 seconds. Protection Barrier duration increased from 2 to 3 seconds. Align the Elements damage reduction per second increased from a 1, 2, 3 to a 3, 6, 9. Mana Shield damage reduction increased from a 5, 10 to 50% to a 7, 14, 21%. Devouring Blaze bonus critical strike damage reduced from a 10, 20 to 30% to a 7, 14, 21%. Devouring Blaze bonus critical strike damage to immobilized reduced from 25, 50 to 75% to a 10, 20, 30%. Fiery Surge mana regeneration increased from a 10, 20, 30% to a 15, 30, 45%. The Paragon. Destruction Glyph now affects all damage instead of just core skills. Enchantments. Spark enchantment, chance to form crackling energy, increased from 10% to 14%. Frozen orb enchantment, chance to be cast, increased from a 20% to a 30%. Incinerate enchantment cooldown, reduced from an 18 to 14 seconds. Hydra enchantment mana threshold, reduced from a 300 to a 200. Legendary aspect. Aspects of efficiency mana cost reduction increased from 10 to 20% to a 15 to 25%, and now also affects mastery skills. The aspect of Armageddon damage increased. The aspect of Shattered Stars damage increased. Serpentine aspect Hydra duration reduction, reduced from a 30 to 20% to a 20 to 10%. Glacial aspect Ice Spikes bonus damage to Frozen, reduced from 25% to a 15%. Glacial aspects Ice Spikes damage increased from that. Aspect of the Frozen Tundra Ice Spikes damage increased from that. Aspects of the Frozen Wake Ice Spikes. Oh my god, I can't read. Frozen Wake Ice Spikes damage increased from, and Chill increased from a 10% to 15%. Aspect of Biting Cold, chance to apply vulnerable to frozen enemies, increased from a 25 to 35% to a 30 to 40%. Encased aspect Life and Mana restore per second, increased from a 10 to 20% to a 20 to 30%. Stable aspect chance for a free cast, increased from a 5 to 10% to a 7 to 12%. Aspect of Splintering Energy, chance to spawn an additional Lightning Spear, increased from 11 to 20% to 45 to 20%. Aspect of the Unbroken Tether, chance for an additional chain lightning chains, increased from 25 to 35% to a 30 to 40%. Items. Gloves of the Eliminator, fireball damage reduction, reduced from 65 to 70% to a 55 to 65%. Esu's Heirloom critical strike chance for movement speed, increased from a 15 to 25 to a 20 to 30. Esadora's Overflowing Cameo, chance to increase a Lightning Nova, increased from 10% to 15%. Yeah. General aspects. Aspect of Disobedience, maximum stacks reduced from 100 to 60, reducing maximum bonus armor percent from 25 to 50% to a 15 to 30%. Aspect of Retribution, bonus damage to stun, reduced from 20 to 40% to a 10 to 20%. Exploiter's aspect, bonus damage to Unstoppable, reduced from 20 to 50% to a 20 to 40%. Starlight aspects resource restore, increased from a 10 to 20 to a 20 to 40. Items. The Butcher's Cleaver, slow, increased from 40 to 75% to a 61 to 75%. Drop rate adjustments. Increased bonus to drop ancestral and sacred items in Nightmare Dungeons from a 5% to a 10%. Removed a 20% chance to drop an extra equipment item from elite monsters outside of Nightmare Dungeons and Helltides. Increase the chance to drop an extra equipment item from an elite monsters in Nightmare Dungeons and Helltides by 10%. Nightmare Dungeons now have a 50% chance to drop a second legendary item upon completion. Nightmare Dungeons now give 3 rare items upon completion, up from 1. Oh, okay, I like that. Monsters. Increase monsters' HP scaling from 85% to 100% bonus per extra player in party. Damn. Miscellaneous. Adjusted the scaling of the Greed Shrine to improve its effectiveness throughout the game. World bosses now drop potions more often. There is no longer a limit to how many materials you can refine into higher materials at once. Item affixes. Developers know many affixes are too efficient and are outshining alternatives. We're looking to refine the outliers, improve the number of meaningful choices on competitive slots, and increase the overall flexibility of items. We know these changes will reduce the total amount of possible power of a character can possess, so we'll be monitoring on how these changes affect players' abilities to conquer expected milestones throughout the season. We're increasing the availability of the affixes below to make them easier to include in different builds. Controlled Impaired Duration Reduction can now appear on pants. Barrier Regeneration can now appear for all classes. It will also begin dropping later in the game. Lucky Hit Chance while you have a barrier can now appear for all classes, reduced by 12% when on the helmet and 20% when on amulet or offhand. Mastery skill damage newly added can appear on sorcerer weapons, skills identical to the core skill damage. Resistance to all elements can now appear on shields. Developers note the core stat bonuses on weapons have been overperforming, so we're pulling back on these bonuses. Strength, 50% stronger when on weapons to a 25% stronger when on weapons. Dexterity, 50% stronger when on weapons to a 25% stronger when on weapons. Intelligence, 50% stronger when on weapons down to a 25%. And willpower, 50% stronger when on weapons to a 25%. Developers know cooldown reduction affixes often felt mandatory due to their raw power. We imagine cooldown reduction will remain a highly desirable stat, but the penalty for not prioritizing it won't be as harsh. Cooldown reduction reduced by 30%. Imbuement skill cooldown reduction reduced by 30%. Trap skill cooldown reduction reduced by 30%. Developers know we're seeing critical strike damage and vulnerable damage often viewed as a hard requirement for a build success in Diablo 4. We believe this is a step towards allowing more builds to flourish and will continue to make changes in support of this goal. Critical strike damage reduced by 17%. Lightning critical strike damage reduced by 17%. Critical strike damage with Bone, Earth, Imbued, and Werewolf skills reduced by 17%. Vulnerable damage reduced by 40%. Developers know disparities in inherent affixes can rule some weapons out before the rest of their stats are even rolled. These are receiving harsher reductions than the normal affix counterparts to increase weapon flexibility. Cooldown reduction inherent on offhands reduced by 35%. Critical strike damage inherent on swords reduced by 50%. Vulnerable damage inherent on crossbows reduced by 65%. Developers know damage bonus to crowd-controlled enemies was overpowering relative to the ease of activating it versus stricter crowd-control type specific affixes. So damage to crowd-control enemies decreased by 30%. Damage to frozen enemies increased by 20%. Developers know we have seen that skillful players are frequently slaughtering monsters many levels above their own. We want to support this, but at the current situation it is beyond what we believe is correct for the long-term health of the game. To chase this goal, we're shifting power to many offensive affixes from defensive affixes. We know this will make our endgame content more deadly, particularly for those chasing our pinnacle boss, an encounter not meant for the faint of the heart. Overcoming the pinnacle boss will take every ounce of grit you can muster and all the tools at your disposal. We will continue to evaluate feedback from the community and make changes on our combat mechanics. Physical damage increased by 25%, fire damage increased by 25%, cold damage increased by 25%, lightning damage increased by 25%, poison, shadow, non-physical damage all increased by 25%. Physical damage over time increased by 40%, fire damage over time increased by 40%, shadow damage over time increased by 40%. Damage with two-handed bludgeoning weapons increased by 25%. Damage with two-handed slashing weapons increased by 25%. Damage with dual-wielded weapons increased by 25%. Damage with ranged increased by 25%. Damage with skills that swap to new weapons increased by 25%. Damage while in human form increased by 25%. Damage while shapeshifted increased by 25%. Blood skill damage increased by 25%. Bone skill damage increased by 25%. Brawling skill increased by 33%. Companion skill damage increased by 33%. Conjuration skill increased by 33%. Cutthroat skill damage increased by 25%. Darkness skill damage increased by 25%. Earth skill damage increased by 25%. Frost increased by 25%. Imbued increased by 25%. Imbuement skill damage increased by 33%. Marksman skill damage increased by 25%. Pyromancy increased by 25%. Shock skill damage increased by 25%. Storm skill damage increased by 25%. Summoning skill damage increased by 25%. Trap skill damage increased by 33%. Weapon mastery skill damage increased by 33%. Werebear skill damage increased by 25%. Werewolf skill damage increased by 25%. Total armor reduced by 30%. Attack speed for 4 seconds after dodging an attack increased by 20%. Damage for 4 seconds after dodging an attack increased by 20%. Total armor while in werebear form reduced by 25%. Total armor while in werewolf form reduced by 25%. Damage reduction from close enemies reduced by 20%. Damage reduction from distant enemies reduced by 20%. Damage reduction from enemies that are bleeding reduced by 25%. Damage reduction from enemies that are burning reduced by 25%. Damage reduction from enemies that are poisoned reduced by 25%. Damage reduction from enemies that are affected by shadow over time reduced by 25%, and the damage reduction while fortified reduced by 25%. Yeah. The glass cannon the game. I mean, listen. World bosses should not have been dying in like 2 seconds, right? It kind of makes sense that the game needs to get harder for long-term survivability, but oh my god. This is some crazy stuff. Well, exactly, right? Like, I mean, I like it. This part makes me cry a little bit inside. This part here, but also, I go for all boxes always anyway, so it's not like a big drastic change to me. I'm still gonna get one-shotted regardless. Like, we know that's not gonna change, right? But yeah. So that's season 1 of the Malignant. Our patch that comes through, well, today, if you update. So yeah. Well, yeah. We'll have to see exactly, like, I'm pretty sure the Cinder Drop reduction, once people start complaining that it's way too low, then maybe they'll look into fixing it more, or maybe they're going to increase Helltide time longer, right? Because if it's going to take a lot longer to get Cinders, an hour might not be good enough. They might have to increase it, right? So we'll have to see.